Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is HD Starcraft, and I'm here to bring you guys game number 2 between ai.Cytoplasm, the purple Zerg at the 530 position. The map is Antigua Shipyard. His opponent, the victor of the first game after holding off the 9 pool, not the 10 pool, and then directly countering him with an attack and taking the victory, is the red Protoss tt.WhiteRa. He will be spawning at the 11 o'clock position. Last game, interesting too. I thought that tt.WhiteRa moving out with his army, I thought if he had just sat back and played a macro game, held off the Baneling bus, he would have pretty much been in a fantastic position to win. But he didn't know that the Baneling bus was coming. I guess he could have, being that I'm the caster, I get that viewpoint and I can see, hey, it's coming. But as a player, you don't always know. So tt.WhiteRa just going for the attack. Thankfully, it worked out for him. That actually could have been bad. I think if there were less Banelings and more Zerglings in that counterattack, then Cytoplasm might have had a shot. But it didn't turn out that way, and tt.WhiteRa, the granddaddy Protoss, did win the first game. And here we are in game 2. We will see what happens. The probe makes its way inside the Zerg mining location, starting to just harass the mineral stacks just a little bit, and by doing that, you can prevent the drone from mining. There you guys can see the drone cannot mine when the probe blocks the stack. Only one worker per mineral stack is allowed, and so tt.WhiteRa, as long as he mines and doesn't allow the probe to pick up a mineral like that, then you can keep doing that. But he did allow it to pick up, and what the heck? I've never seen that. It just blew up. Okay, well, tt.WhiteRa had his mere presence inside the base has caused the robots here to blow up, and now he's gonna have 5 minerals and maybe just try to make his way outside the base, or at least just block the natural for as long as possible. That's what most Protoss will do. Do note the spawning pool coming up at more regular timing. It's not going to be that early 9 pool that we saw last game, and now tt.WhiteRa can go ahead and block. No, he will not. Letting the hatchery come up. So Cytoplasm gets a quick break there, allowing the hatchery to come up. He won't actually have to produce Zerglings now. The reason why most Zergs produce 2 to 4 Zerglings is to deal with that pylon, but being that the hatchery has been allowed down, the Zerg can be a little extra greedy here and just go for queens and drones, maybe just 1 pair for scouting purposes. And that's what we see coming right now. tt.WhiteRa, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, going for Forge, going for Gateway, has a Nexus coming up, and it looks like the Nexus was after Forge, so it wasn't the extra greedy Protoss build. The Overlord will also Veyron its way inside the base and do a full lap and then run away. Checking, of course, for that Chrono Boost energy and, more importantly, any gas timings. But really, upon seeing that Nexus, most Zergs will know, hey, it's going to be an expand build. And Cytoplasm has decided to go ahead and expand on top of that so that he doesn't fall behind in economy. I do like that decision, as it's really the Zerg playstyle right now. ZVP, it's interesting. Right now, it's kind of all about Protosses taking control in the mid game and rushing and trying to kill off the Zerg. You still have a lot of Zergs going for the mass Stefano Roach style, but then you have Protosses kind of countering that by going for mass Immortal as well. And any timing pushes that come before the Roaches can be really effective. We saw, actually you guys didn't see this, but I casted a few days ago for MSI's tournament, a bunch of 7-gate play from one of the Protoss players, and I won't spoil for who. But yeah, you guys should go ahead and check it out. Those replays from the MSI tournament will be coming up on my YouTube channel very, very soon. And you guys can also, of course, catch the live stream, which I think is going to be going on today and tomorrow, or one of those days. So, anyway, so what just came to my mind right now is the robot that just blew up inside the base of Cytoplasm. And, you know, I kind of remember you can actually make critters blow up if you click on them enough. And so tt.WhiteRa obviously wasn't the one clicking him because he was scouting with his probe and microing, so it must have been Cytoplasm just decided to click on the robot and make it blow up. So that's kind of interesting. I'll make sure to go ahead and rewind and check that out again when the replay ends. And here comes tt.WhiteRa with the Zealot coming out across the map, tagging the Xel'Naga Tower, and a lot of Protosses will do this. So just move out across the map to try to annoy the Zerg a little bit, force them to produce more drones less drones than what they would normally be capable of. And we can see the Zealot making its way over to the third. At the very least, you get a scout on the third hatchery, get a full timing on the base, and just a little bit of micro here with the 2 drones. Do note there is a very fast robotics facility coming up for tt.WhiteRa that's pretty common now to counter that mass roach style that so many Zergs are using. That is really the way to play kind of ZVP now. It's just max out roaches, hit the base, and Protoss is now kind of blindly countering by just going fast robotics facility, getting a bunch of Immortals out, and sometimes even doing that push Immortal Sentry style and you know, countering the roaches in that fashion. So we'll see what happens here. A lot of Protosses will take advantage of mid game against Zerg. They don't want to let their advantages slip away, and that's when Protoss really are strong. They can make a lot of timing pushes off of 2 bases, as I mentioned before. Now, we do have Cytoplasm researching speed first, and then grabbing the second gas inside the main. In fact, second, third, fourth, all 5 extractors coming up at the same time, so actually not going to be going for the Stefano-style Roach max-out build this time, because when you do that, you don't want to get speed. You want to get your layer around 6 minutes in, 6 minutes 30 seconds or so. This is a little bit later, and this is more of the, mass gas, get a bunch of Muta style, because he's got 6 gases right now, and that's way more gas than you normally need to go Roaches, and we might be seeing that kind of nesty, I'm going to counter your base while you attack my base, mass Muta Ling style. And on this map, it's actually a pretty good strategy because it's so wide open. You can actually get in and counter the Protoss base very easily, and this should make things really interesting. WhiteRa going for Immortals is going to be very sad to see that he's got no Roaches to slay with them. It's just going to be Mutas and Zerglings. And WhiteRa could actually be in a lot of trouble. He needs to get an observer inside the base immediately to scout, but he doesn't even have an observer on the map. That's the other thing too. When you blindly counter the Roaches, you don't even get an observer. That's the definition of going blind. You just blindly counter. But if you don't go up against Roaches, you're in a lot of trouble. He has no vision over the Protoss base. He has a bunch of Immortals, but Immortals don't do diddly squat versus Mutas or Zerglings. And we can see the Spires on the way right now. Zerglings begin to build up. There's a pylon up there. But the pylon is going to be scouted out by that random Zergling, and it looks like it will probably be taken out as reinforcements arrived out. Zealot, his days are numbered. It will go down, doing its duty, guarding the outpost, but a lot of Zerglings starting to stream out across the map right now, and WhiteRa, seeing all these Zerglings, has got to start getting a little worried that his composition is not the best built to combat a mass swarm of units. He needs to start making some Zealots right now, but he's continuing to warp in Stalkers. There's a couple of Zealots to mix in with the army. There's a Warp Prism, WhiteRa tactic style coming in to reinforce his army as well. I really think WhiteRa's in a lot of trouble, guys. There are 10 Mutalisks on the way right now. Cytoplasm going for the Mutaling composition is going to be so strong against WhiteRa's units right now, but WhiteRa has a lot of army warping in all these Stalkers here, so he's got significant anti-air. He has a couple of Zealots on the ground as well, and he might be able to take out this third hatchery before those Mutalisks come out, and the hatchery is going to fall. No response out from Cytoplasm, so what Cytoplasm is planning to do right now is just mass out Zergling Muta and go for the counterattack. He's just going to give up and surrender his base, doesn't even want to bother defending. It looks like he was able to leak out with all of his units. I don't even know if WhiteRa saw these units running across the map. I don't think he did. WhiteRa right now has got to be wondering what the heck is going on. I really hope he's got sentries ready to go at the front door. Even if he has sentries, he doesn't. He's still in a lot of trouble because he doesn't have enough anti-air. That's a lot of Mutas coming out here, and there's more Mutas back at home as well, with Spine Crawlers from Cytoplasm, who's pulling drones off their line right now to defend. So it's a full-on base race. Will WhiteRa have enough warp gates cooldowns ready to go to warp in more Stalkers? The Forge is about to fall. The Forge has fallen. The Zerglings have come in. Stalkers are not so great against Zerglings, and if all these Stalkers fall, there won't be enough to deal with the Mutas, and it's a pretty close battle right now. At the same time, another fight raging down to the south. Queen's being called in the fight as well. The Immortal will fall down to the drones, and now it's just Mutalisks to take out the Warp Prism. No more reinforcements out from WhiteRa. WhiteRa's offense has been halted, but at the same time, he was able to defend back at home. Even though he lost a huge chunk of his wall, he can easily replace that and get back into the game. In fact, he's coming out with a huge counterattack here, pushing the Mutas away, but Zerglings have come! Zerglings have come, and WhiteRa doesn't have enough Zealots here to hold off the Speedlings, and that could be it, ladies and gentlemen. WhiteRa will probably lose this game now, having lost a huge chunk of his army in the middle of the map, desperately trying to get Twilight Council out right now to research Blink, but it might just be too far gone at this point. The Zerglings are now banging down the front door with the new forges coming up, and WhiteRa is just going to have to play in the base right now, play very defensively. He needs Blink so badly to deal with the Mutalisks. Mutalisks are just far too mobile for Blinkless Stalkers, and really WhiteRa can't even hope to move out of the base right now. The Zerg has taken an absolute dominating Iron Fist control over this game right now. The game is his to win. He's replacing the third hatchery at this point. He needs to get some more mining going. Let's check out his economy right now, 47 to 48. So he doesn't actually have that huge of a drone advantage advantage, but what his main advantage right now is his map control. He has so many mutas on the map. He can keep the Protoss tied inside the base for a very long time, at least until Blink is finished. And during this time, he can be droning up, but he's actually not. He's not really droning up at all. He's just continuing to make more mutas and +1 weapons, which has me thinking he just wants to end the game. And he did try to open up with a 9-pull in the first game. Perhaps he just feels like he doesn't have the skill level to take out WhiteRa in a one-on-one. And, I hope that doesn't sound offensive to him, but to me, it just kind of seems like he doesn't want to play the straight-up game with WhiteRa. Now he's starting to drone up, though. So that's good. That's good. He doesn't want to fall behind too far in economy. As WhiteRa, sitting back on 2 bases, a Protoss can sit on 2 bases for a very long time, especially if Zerg doesn't have the 3rd mining yet, and that is the case at least for now. A lot of mutas from Cytoplasm. A lot of mutas from Cytoplasm, who's also making a Baneling nest here. Remember as well that if you go with this muta Zergling style, it really does mean that you kind of have to go for that base race. You kind of have to take advantage in the mid game and really win out then and there. Otherwise, you're gonna have to tech switch back down to a more common style like Roachling, Infestor, Broodlord in the late game, and that can be a little bit hard to switch back down because he's invested so much into flyer attacks now, and he's even got more Zerglings. And remember that Baneling nest coming as well. Still no action in the last couple of minutes as Cytoplasm is just floating around the map, looking for the right avenue to go in and attack. WhiteRa is just playing so cautiously and carefully. Who can blame him? There's so many mutas on the map. I'm surprised he's not starting to make Templar archives. High Templar Archons can shut down Mutalisks so easily. Muta Zergling is actually completely countered by Templar technology. And here comes the Stalkers blinking down. Get a couple of shots, but they aren't able to kill anything of significance, just the Overseer. But I am actually a little surprised that WhiteRa, like I said, hasn't gone for Templar tech yet. So that's pretty interesting to me, but it looks like he's still kind of tied up inside the base playing this cat and mouse with the mutas. He knows as soon as he leaves, he's in trouble because his mutas will fly in. That's why he's trying to warp in all these cannons, all these pylons. I thought those were cannons. So he does have some cannons, but not too many inside the mineral lines. Now I guess he's feeling a little more comfortable, and he's going to start to move out just a little bit. Let's check their actual APM here. The Zerg at 198 average, Protoss at 140. WhiteRa's always been kind of known as the lower APM type player. Most Protosses usually are. But here comes the mutas and Zerglings and a lot of Banelings from Cytoplasm. That is so much explosive firepower. But WhiteRa's coming here, man. He's got 1-2 armor. The Zerglings and Banelings are on creep, though. Stalker's blinking forward. Force field's going down. Banelings not exactly hitting the money jackpot. So now it's just purely Stalkers versus mass mutas. And the mutas have only 1 weapons upgrades, where the Stalkers have 1-2. WhiteRa could very well win this game as well, coming out with a huge attack of Blink Stalkers. But there are 28 Zerglings and 20 Banelings on the way right now. I don't really agree with Cytoplasm making Banelings right now. I think he should just go purely with Zerglings and mutas. Banelings are actually not that cost effective, I don't think, unless you can hit them all when they're grouped up. But it's so hard to do when WhiteRa has Blink on his side. Now the Banelings coming off creep. The Banelings are going, though. They're rolling, and WhiteRa's trying to blink out of the way. He has to fall back, and he still doesn't have Templar tech on the field. Actually getting a little thin right here for WhiteRa. This is a little bit pinched for him. I don't know if he's got enough to hold this off. So many mutas in the air, and mutas are very good against Stalkers. Just, tick for tat. They are really, really good cost effectively. They can Glaive Worm bounce and do so much damage, and it looks like Cytoplasm holds off the counter, but he loses the hatchery. But you know what? I really do think, even though he lost the hatchery, killing off that Protoss army, with WhiteRa being so far behind in tech as it is, not having Templar, not having robotics for Colossus, still on 2 bases, I do believe that Cytoplasm can just roam on in here and end the game. I don't know what WhiteRa can do. Blinking back to his photon cannons now. Zergling's running away. I don't know why. They should just run in there and go for the kill. Perhaps he's just playing safe rather than sorry, but really it is Cytoplasm's game to win at this point, and I think it's going to tie up the series. WhiteRa now losing 4 of his gateways to that muta attack, and now unpowered pretty much half of his production is, and really can't do anything about that at this point. Zerg reclaiming the 3rd hatchery, economy at 47 to 47. And there we have it, finally a Templar Archives coming down for WhiteRa, but it just is probably a little too late now. He doesn't have the gas reserves to invest into Templars or Archons. He's just really on Blink Stalkers and trying to, it's like he's trying to rehabilitate his base right now, and you know, that's the least of his worries. He's got to worry about this huge army that is just moments away from crashing through his front door. And honestly, if that Zerg swarm were to come right now, I don't think WhiteRa could hold it off. I don't think there's anything he could do about it. And you know, Cytoplasm just taking his time. I think this is it though, as he's starting to come in. There is an Archon though on the field. I saw 2 Templars warping in. Merge me together, power overwhelming. Maybe this Archon will be what he needs. He needs to make it now though. Oh, it's too late. And the Zerglings get a surround. The Archon never even got to see any action. And WhiteRa is going to fall in this game to the Muta Zergling Nestea style. GG calls WhiteRa well played. We're going to go on to game number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. And wait, I do remember I said I was going to look at the robot at the beginning of the game just to watch it get clicked to death. But damn, this is an exciting set. It's always exciting when I cast WhiteRa. That's why I saw this game. I was like, oh, have to cast. All right, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and look at Cytoplasm's vision. And I know for sure it had to be him who was blowing up the little robot thing. Here we go. I'm going to fast forward. There it is. There it is. He's clicking. He's clicking. He's clicking. He's clicking. And it dies. So, yeah. Kind of caught me off guard at the first second. I was like, what the heck happened? Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is HD signing on to Game 3.